the Wasatch Academy Tigers from Mount Pleasant, Utah, and the Oak Hill Academy Warriors from Mouth of Wilson, Virginia. Everybody talked about Oak Hill coming in. Not a lot of people knew about Wasatch Academy, but here they are, both teams playing for the title of Iolani Classic champion. We welcome you back here to BallerTV with the coach, Dean Shimamoto. I'm Josh Pacheco. Let's talk about Wasatch first, because people are learning about them on the fly, including that man, Caleb Lohner, who's coming off of a team-high 14 points a night ago.
Lohner is one great athlete, and sometimes his athleticism almost overshadows the fact that he's an incredibly skilled player as well. You'll see him with highlight reel dunks and that body size. He uses his strength really well, gets to the hole, takes some bumps, but he has incredible footwork. You'll see him spin and make moves, but then he'll also step out to the three-point line, and when he gets an opportunity and a clean look, he's knocking those down. So what a tough guard.
He's going to stay home. He'll go to the University of Utah. Oak Hill ranked 14th in the Max Preps 25. And, of course, the name that everybody's been talking about with Oak Hill, Cam Thomas, 3 games. He scored over 30 points in each of those 3 games. He has been a phenomenal stud for a team that has dominated in each of their 3 wins, including a 79-61 win a night ago over Jefferson.
Yeah, Cam Thomas is an absolute bucket. You give him the ball and he's looking to score. You know, he's one of those guys. As soon as he steps in the gym, he's open or he's finding a way. If there's not 5 guys in front of him, he's going to the hole, or he's going to shoot a step back or get a jumper. So many tricks in his bag. A little different than Andre Curbelo, like we've seen a game ago. He's more of a jump shooter, but he can get it every which way. He can dunk it. He can go to the hole and finish. He can shoot it from range. And when you get 33 points a game in this Iolani Classic, that's no small feat. Cam Thomas, I mean, I'm looking for fireworks out of him today.
That's head coach Steve Smith. He's in his 35th season and one of the best around in the high school level. Being able to coach the talent that is a part of this program year after year after year. There are literally maybe 3 open seats here, maybe one more. It is a packed house here inside Iolani Gymnasium on the island of Oahu, where it's been kind of a wintry day, breezy, a bit rainy outside, but it is warm in here, and it is going to be electric for 2 of the top teams in the nation. Oak Hill's lineup features at the guard spot KK Robinson and Darius Maddox, both seniors. Also a senior in Cam Thomas, his size at 6'4", he can do a lot with his frame. The front court with Jamari Sibley and Emmanuel Okpomo. It is an all-senior lineup for Steve Smith's Oak Hill Warriors. On the other side for Wasatch Academy, there's David Evans, the BYU Hawaii alum, played and coached there. Coached here at the Iolani Classic for Lone Peak when they took 4th place 4 years ago. His backcourt, he's got Richard Isaacs Jr. along with Mike Saunders and Richie Saunders. 4 is Leonardo Colomario and the aforementioned Caleb Lohner. Wasatch Academy 15-0. They have yet to lose. They are the number 2 team in the state of Utah, and they are a winning machine here in the last decade.
Game 32 in this Iolani Classic. We've been here for a lot of them, and we've got to see these teams play against different types of competition. And coming in, we didn't know much about them. You hear about Wasatch Academy and you hear about Oak Hill Academy, but until you actually see them, you see them work and play together as a team, you don't know what they have. And this is what it was expected to be. After a few days, you knew that these 2 teams were going to battle it out for the championship. And we talked about it last night. We don't know who's going to come out with this one. We've seen it over and over. We've seen them play against different teams and have success, but who has the advantage? I don't know.
You saw our 3 officials, and as you mentioned in our previous game, this is a very veteran crew. Ryan Wells, Eric Morales, and Mike Ishikawa will legislate this game to close down the 2019 Iolani Classic.
These 3 officials with college experience. These are not guys that are just used to high school or Hawaii high school basketball. They're used to being in big games. They're used to officiating high-level athletes in competition.
Ryan Wells' opening toss. It is won by Cam Thomas and Oak Hill. Oak Hill 20-1. Steve Smith told me earlier this week they played 4 games last week. They've been playing some great competition. Well prepared for the Iolani Classic. The foul called early on Leonardo Colomario of Wasatch Academy. It'll be baseline out of bounds.
Surprise, surprise, Cam Thomas gets the ball and attacks the basket. We've seen that over and over and over and over during this Iolani Classic.
The attacks to the rim very different yesterday and today as compared to the first 2 games in this Classic. First touch for KK Robinson. Driving on Lohner. Kicks out to Maddox. Isaacs, great defense. 3 ball for KK Robinson, it's good.
Every one of these Oak Hill Academy Warriors is capable of scoring on their man. And KK Robinson didn't hit a lot of those last night, but he is more than capable, and you could see that right there. A lot of confidence.
Isaacs prods, finds Mike Saunders in the corner. Can't answer. Rebound to Sibley.
Oak Hill packing it back in there. Okay with Wasatch swinging it around the perimeter.
Bounce pass. Finds Sibley inside looking for space, and he's able to get that for 2.
The patience of Sibley. Didn't seem like he had a lot of things there, but pivoted back, pivoted forward, and finally got one easy off the glass.
Good start for Oak Hill. If you're Wasatch, you don't want to let this get too far away. No good on the 3. Colomario fighting for the rebound, but it's poked out to Thomas. Thomas forcing the issue on the dribble. And left open for 3. Isaacs will run. And blocked. But Isaacs tries to follow. He is blocked as well. Robinson had one stuff. Emmanuel Okpomo had the other. 15-footer for Thomas. 7-0 run for Oak Hill to start.
Thus far, it's been Oak Hill's defense that's made the difference here. I mean, they've gotten opportunities on the offensive end, but they're not impressive, just patient. But defense has been stellar.
Here's the shooter, Rickie Saunders, and he connects to get Wasatch on the board.
Rickie Saunders is not the guy you want to leave. Mike Saunders, pretty good shooter. Richard Isaacs, pretty good shooter. Rickie Saunders, great shooter.
He's going to BYU. 7-3, Oak Hill. Lob it up for Okpomo. Cam will head to the line.
I see Cam Thomas get the ball, and you just wonder, like, if you're one of those coaches, if you're Coach Steve Smith, is that a play? Let's run play 24. What is that play? Give it to Cam Thomas.
You could tell as soon as he was coming out with the dribble, you knew that was all him. The second foul on Colomario, as the first free throw for Cam Thomas is good, and Colomario is going to come right out of the game. Fus Traore will come in, and I'm interested to see how they're going to align these matchups with Thomas now, because he can do a little bit of everything.
Important though, Colomario didn't get a lot of touches in these first few possessions from Wasatch, but he's been an integral part of their offense, able to hit threes, has a lot of length, good defender, so him going out with 2 fouls early really makes a difference for this Wasatch Academy.
Traore works around to Isaacs off the dribble. Okpomo with the rebound. Thomas with a head of steam, swatted away by Traore. Saunders will launch. A bit too strong, and the rebound for Okpomo. Mike Saunders knocks it out. Oak Hill ball far sideline.
We've seen these two teams play earlier in the tournament, and they really get up and down. They push transition. They try to open up the floor so they can get easy opportunities. But for the most part, Oak Hill's played at a pretty smooth pace. Not too fast, not too slow, but has been productive with 9 points early in this first quarter.
KK Robinson contacted off the screen. He's called for a traveling violation. They'll turn the ball over.
Wasatch Academy getting another opportunity on the offensive end, and I'd like to see Isaacs probe a little bit more. I mean, maybe we just got used to it seeing Curbelo in the last game, but I feel like Richard Isaacs, I know he's capable of scoring, but early in this game, getting more guys involved in each of these offensive possessions.
David Evans watching what his team does on the offensive end. Rickie Saunders inside. Traore right around Okpomo and in. And a nice job for Traore right off the bench.
Good possession by the Tigers, really patient.
Maddox can't hit. There's Traore again with the rebound. Off the dribble, here's Lohner. Rebound poked free and chased down by KK Robinson. Sibley gets his man up in the air. The pullback goes. As we see bodies hit the floor underneath the basket.
Best competition thus far for Oak Hill. They haven't had much trouble in these first 3 rounds or in the first 3 games of this Iolani Classic. So you see them playing against a better team, but they always turn it up.
Mike Saunders looking for Traore. Lohner may not have been ready for it. It was out of his reach anyway. Robinson pushing ahead. They're going to call a block on Lohner. There wasn't a lot of contact. Lohner may have stumbled over himself, but he's called for the foul regardless.
When Oak Hill pushes transition, they put so much pressure on the defense. Guys like KK Robinson, they're shifty. It's hard to stay in front. What are you supposed to do? I mean, you make your best stand, maybe guess one way or the other, but really you're at his mercy and hope he misses.
The Arkansas commit. Robinson's first free throw is good. It's a 12-5 start for Oak Hill. 78% free throw shooting team coming into tonight's game. 29-37.
You'll see so many of these guys on the next level playing college at big-time colleges. I'm sure getting a lot of early minutes as just freshmen in just a year from now.
Wasatch Academy breaks the pressure. Rickie Saunders off the bounce, misses. Lohner grabs the rebound, misses the putback. Traore fighting inside. Traore's been great off the bench, and Wasatch Academy will use its first of 5 timeouts. A 30-second stoppage with 3:08 remaining in the first quarter.
Traore has given them a huge boost off of the bench. We know Colomario brings a lot, but Traore's entrance into the game defensively on the defensive boards and then on the offensive end getting in and working. There's no substitute for hard work and hustle, and he's really helping this team who is struggling to score on the offensive end just stay in the game. Still just 6 points difference in this final championship matchup.
You mentioned earlier the Wasatch Academy team. I mean, this is really a worldwide group. Traore coming from West Africa. He's got offers at BYU and Dixie State, so he's got options. He's just a junior, and if he keeps playing this way on a stage like this, maybe more offers to come.
Yeah, so many stars surrounding him, the bigger names going to the bigger colleges, but a guy like Traore is so productive, and you cannot bypass production, especially at that level. Not everybody is a star in college. They need guys like Traore to clean things up and to do all the dirty work.
Cam Thomas off the screen. It's on an easy baseline too. It misses. The ball popped up in the air. Rickie Saunders will track it down. Isaacs. That's going to be called a goaltend. Late whistle. The trail official, Mikey Shikawa, saw it from the bigger view and made the call.
It happened so fast. Isaacs gets there and without a dribble, some on the Oak Hill bench might have thought that was a travel, but looked pretty clean, got it up on the board, and you don't have a lot of time to get these finishes up and into the basket, so credit to Isaacs.
These two teams run up and down the floor impressively well. Maddox going baseline. 10 to shoot for Cam Thomas. Underneath, Okpomo got away with a walk.
That, yes, was probably a travel, but give it to him anyway.
2:08 to go in the first. Mike Saunders with enough space, and he connects.
Oak Hill might have gotten confused on that play. They were kind of in a zone, kind of in a man, and it looked like the Oak Hill defender there, Okpomo, was waiting for a switch, waiting for the top guy, but the top man went back to the wing and followed his man. So I'm not sure if that was a mix-up defensively.
Okpomo battling inside. Now Maddox off the bounce. Isaacs the rebound. And a foul going to be called against KK Robinson. You're going to see that, I think, with Isaacs. He will be one that will force the issue. See if he can draw some personals in the open floor.
Yes, he is continuously attacking, whether in the half court or in transition. He's constantly moving forward, going to the basket, looking for opportunities to score.
Evan Johnson checks in for Oak Hill. So does the Skywalker Derek Jones Jr. I was trying to get a Star Wars reference in, finally got it. Traore backing in. No good off the back rim, out of bounds, last touched by Saunders.
Good post, nice move by Traore, was on balance, but also contested well by Oak Hill.
68 ticks left in the quarter. Underhanded out to KK Robinson. His three is good. He's had the outside touch early.
Squared up nicely on those. Sometimes those athletic guys get a little lazy with their footwork, but that wasn't the case there with KK Robinson.
Traore right over Okpomo. What a nice first quarter for Traore off the bench. Thomas three, no. And Traore cleans it up, gets the rebound. Wasatch staying in within 4. Step back 3. And the board for Okpomo. Shot clock is off. Jones, known for his high flying, that 3 won't drop. Final 10 seconds. Mike Saunders trying to set it up. Isaacs, got it. David Evans, the head coach, letting out a little exclamation, watching his team get within 1 after 1. It is 18-17 Oak Hill as you are watching the 2019 Iolani Classic on BallerTV. One of the entrants into the 2019 Iolani Classic. That's Sing Hao from China, taking in tonight's championship game. And so far, Wasatch Academy, a couple of big shots late. Isaacs hitting a 3 toward the end of the quarter. And it is an 18-17 lead for Oak Hill. And as we just get started, our referee Mike Ishikawa sees a wet spot on the court, and they'll wipe it up right in front of the Oak Hill bench. Isaacs 5 points in the first quarter, leading all Wasatch scorers. KK Robinson is at 2 threes. He's scored 8 for Oak Hill.
What we got used to seeing earlier for Wasatch was Mike Saunders getting to the rim, getting to the rack. He's so explosive. When he turns the corner, he gets to the basket quickly and rises up and finishes. We haven't seen that thus far. A couple of three-point attempts by Saunders rather than attack, so look out for that
for the
later
lead.
in the game.
Off the mark. Rebound for Derek Jones and Oak Hill.
Oak Hill almost content to allow him to shoot those, maybe because of his ability to get to the rim. So he hasn't found the mark just thus far.
Drive and kick out for Cam Thomas against Mike Saunders. Jones spins and is rejected by Traore. What a first half he has had. Isaacs for the lead. Oak Hill's not used to this. Down 2 in the second quarter here at the Classic.
Mike Saunders pushing the pace, but keeping his eyes up and finding Isaacs with the hot hand.
Long range, Johnson answers with the 3. Evan Johnson, 7 points last night.
Johnson, KK Robinson, Cam Thomas, who do you guard? Who do you leave open? Who do you help off of? None of them.
Traore wanted it, not in position. Isaacs off the screen. Steps back on Jones. Barely grazes the front rim. Out from Mike Saunders. And they reset the shot clock. They say it's a shot clock violation. I thought that might have touched the front rim, but official Ryan Wells says no.
That's a veteran official, a veteran move. Most officials maybe that don't have that type of experience are waiting for the buzzer to go off for that shot clock, but he had that recognition, realized it shouldn't have been reset, and gave the possession to Oak Hill.
Drive off the left side, loose in the paint, and we'll get a foul going against the Warriors. That's the second on KK Robinson. I'll see Darius Maddox re-enter the game. I think all you really could ask for early on, knowing how Oak Hill's been so dominant for your Wasatch, stay right there, stay within. They had the lead for a moment, right within 1, and they have shown the ability to go toe-to-toe, especially at the rim. Saunders wanted a foul, but scores the 2.
That is the Saunders we're used to.
Cam Thomas, body leaning, shot misses. Traore has it in his hands.
Traore cleaning up the boards for Wasatch Academy.
Mike Saunders all on his own. 3-point lead.
Mentioned it earlier, saw him settling for threes earlier, and this Mike Saunders is the one that has been productive over the last few days, getting to the rim, rising up, and finishing.
Rickie Saunders picks up the foul and free throws for Evan Johnson off the shot attempt. Mike Saunders has almost quietly shown his confidence. I mean, he came into the Classic, the team's leading scorer, averaging just under 18 a game. But he's almost at times taken a back seat when we've seen Caleb Lohner put up quality performances, and Isaacs has had big moments from outside the arc. Now Saunders is taking his moment in the limelight.
That's the strength of this Wasatch Academy team. Anybody can hurt you. A lot of weapons at their disposal, and they're all different. Isaacs is versatile. Saunders can get to the rim.
Offensive foul on Isaacs.
The right call there. Oak Hill Academy likes to pick up and use their quickness to disrupt the ball handlers, and got his hand a little high. Can't let that one go.
Still a 1-point lead for Wasatch Academy. Thomas stumbles but gets it out. Now he'll try to drive. Gets it for Bradley Ezewiro. Not close, but it comes out to Sibley. Shot clock down to 8. And he gets it to drop. Lead back to Oak Hill. And underneath, Traore. Right now the MVP of the first half for Wasatch Academy.
Traore with the rim run, and Isaac slipping that pass right past the Oak Hill defender. And so many things have to go right. The rim run, the great pass, and the tough catch. The finish was the easiest part.
4.5 left in the second quarter. Thomas driving in. What's the call? A foul on Traore. Thought maybe there was a chance they'd get Thomas for an extra step. Instead, the LSU commit will head to the free throw line, where he is 89% here in the Classic.
He stops, he goes, he step backs, he Euro steps to the rim and hangs and draws contact. Those are the type of guys that just know how to score. They are productive.
33 a night ago. 10 of 11 from the free throw line. He's averaging just over 32 a game.
It's those little nuances, the angles, the body contact.
And a rare miss. Tied at 26, 4:21 remaining in the half. Isaacs wasn't ready for it. Not expecting the pass. Can't afford to have that happen. Not against Oak Hill. Lohner comes out to guard Sibley. Thomas now in the paint. Too easy from 14 feet out.
Defense is not fun against Oak Hill, so when you give up an easy one on the offensive end, just throw it out of bounds on a miscommunication, you now have to go back to guarding them.
Isaacs can't give Wasatch Academy the lead back, but Lohner will float it back in on the follow.
Haven't said his name a lot, but you'll see him cleaning up the messes in there. Maybe get him on track.
Maddox turns, scores.
Add another name to that list, Darius Maddox, to go along with Robinson and Thomas.
Isaacs underneath for Traore, who goes around the rim.
Richard Isaacs, just a sophomore, but playing like a veteran, like a senior, leading this team.
They draw the help. Well, Pomo not an outside threat. Thomas is, though, and he shows it. 3-point Oak Hill lead. Mike Saunders got his man up in the air and answers.
Saunders right back. Gave the pump fake, the side dribble, was able to get that three to go.
Maddox was the one who bit. Nice pass underneath. Sibley right around Traore.
Wide open there, wide open floor for Oak Hill to work with. Now back in a zone.
We've been going back and forth here in the last 2 minutes or so. Lohner for Traore. What a game he has had here in the first half.
So patient, and he's just taken what Oak Hill has given him. He hasn't done anything particularly special other than do his job, and his job has led to a lot of under the basket finishes, and he's grabbed rebounds, and he's done a little bit of everything, but again, just his job.
Thomas will shoot free throws as he draws the foul on Mike Saunders on the step back, and they say it was behind the three-point line. David Evans is not a fan of that call, as you can hear him trying to explain to referee Eric Morales. So Thomas shooting three.
Cameron Thomas has carefully crafted his game, and you could see him step back. He shot the long three the last time and made that. So as a defender, now you have to extend a little bit more, which puts you in a bad spot. You're far more vulnerable, farther away from the basket, and the way he attacks it, an extra bit of space is, wow, I mean, those things raise his percentage instantly. If you got to step out now to 25 feet to guard someone like Cameron Thomas with the bag of tricks that he has.
12 points, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, and the lead back up to 2 for Oak Hill. Mike Saunders right around Okpomo and easy off the window. Made it look easy, but it really wasn't. And on the other end, Thomas forces the issue. Traore the board. Wasatch looking for the lead. Behind the back, Saunders won't fire. Lohner. Good movement by the Oak Hill defense. Traore trying to push his way in again. Ball is on the ground. We'll have a held ball. And the possession arrow will give it to Oak Hill. And they'll wipe up the mess underneath with players crashing against one another.
Oak Hill Academy in a scramble situation. They're not a set defense, having to get back and find guys in transition. And it looked like there were quite a few openings there. Maybe Loner at the top for a three, or Saunders on the inside, or Traore. But credit to Oak Hill, their length and their ability to scramble and cover ground prevented that score.
Foul away from the ball. That will send Thomas to the free throw line shooting 1-1. And that will be the first foul on Isaacs. 3 players with 12 points leading all scores. Thomas for Oak Hill, Mike Saunders, and Fus Traore for Wasatch.
The best way to guard Cam Thomas is to prevent him from getting the ball. Once he gets the ball, you're at his mercy. So Richard Isaacs really trying to work hard off the ball, make him work hard, make Cam Thomas work hard, and got a little too aggressive in trying to keep him from coming off that screen clean.
Front end good with 59.8 left in the half. Now the Warriors lead back to 1. Can't make it 2. 3 misses from the foul line for Cam Thomas. Mike Saunders hemmed off of the baseline, but he'll fade and miss. Cam Thomas slips because of contact. He'll go back to the foul line. Second on Rickie Saunders.
Rickie Saunders, his second personal, 9th team foul.
That foul disparity, by the way, 9-2. And the only 2 Oak Hill fouls committed by KK Robinson.
They've done a great job of just staying in front. They didn't risk too much. They don't reach a lot. Their length itself is the issue. So they're using that. They're being smart about how they play defense. And there you see it, the 2 fouls.
Last time in the 1-1 as Thomas hits the front end.
Anytime you're in this situation, 9-2 as a coach, you're letting the referees know. I mean, whether you believe it or not, you know your team may have been more active, but you want to let them know. And at the end of the day, referees are human. They see the disparity, and maybe they're going to call one, and maybe you get an extra call that maybe you otherwise wouldn't have.
Or maybe the disparity is there because it's the way the game's been played. Isaacs draws the contact and the foul on Okpomo. And they're going to say it's on the shot. So 2 free throws for Isaacs.
Yeah, I do think it's there because of the way the game is played. And, you know, it's not going to stop a coach from trying to work for it and maybe get a little extra. But we haven't seen Wasatch force the action too much. You know, they've shot a lot of threes thus far in this half. I mean, partly because Oak Hill's sagging back and doing a good job of protecting the rim. But you saw it right there. Isaacs making an attempt to go to the rim and draw contact.
Misses both free throws. Nearly identical game clock and shot clock. Johnson can just stand around, wait for the go. Now Steve Smith says go. Loner out on Thomas with 1 second. The 3 over Traore is no good. And Wasatch's defense plays that well enough to keep him from scoring at the end of the half.
Yeah, important one. Every one of these baskets is going to matter. And thus far, 40-37 game at the half, about the game expected. I mean, if you asked me before the game, how do you see this game going? I thought it may be more up-tempo. You know, maybe a little more fireworks, a few more dunks, open floor, but the production's been there. A lot of fouls, a lot of free throws for Oak Hill, but at the end of the day, I thought it was going to be a game in the 70s, within 3 to 5 points when it's all said and done, and we're right there. We're right there at a 40-37 game, and really still a toss-up as to who's going to come out with this one.
As we hit the half, we want you to enjoy some highlights from the Iolani Dunk Competition presented by Alakai Executive Search. It was a fun competition, and enjoy what was a really classic event. Halftime lead for Oak Hill, 40-37. There are your 5th place champions, Archbishop Wood, 86-68 over Mount Vernon earlier tonight as they take in the sights and sounds of this championship game. Back with Coach Dean Shimamoto, I'm Josh Pacheco. What stood out to you through the first 16 minutes of play?
Oak Hill's defense was really tough. I mean, they didn't do anything flashy. They used their athleticism. They used their length. They sat back. They forced a lot of longer shots than things on the inside, with the exception of Triori. But their defense has been pretty good. I mean, you know, they gave up 37 points, and maybe defense is not their focus, but a lot of these teams, you don't realize how good their defenses are because you're watching their offenses. And it really is going to come down to defense. It's going to come down to some key stops here in this second half. But on the Wasatch side, Triori, we talked about it over and over, and he's been incredibly productive for the Wasatch Academy Tigers. He's done it on the defensive boards. He's gotten dump-offs, but not because he was doing anything special, in a totally different way than a Cam Thomas. You're not seeing them clear out for Triori like you do for Cam Thomas, but Triori's just been catching dump-offs, finishing them, running the lanes in transition, and just doing his job, but huge boost for them off the bench.
It's been the balance. Triori, 12 points, tied for the team lead, but also they're getting those outside shots. They've hit 34 coming into this championship game. 8 a night ago. They've got 5, and that's something that they've done very, very well. Mike Saunders has hit 2. Richard Isaacs has hit 2. Richie Saunders had one very early on. He hasn't hit one since. But Wasatch has put together great balance to stay in there. But how do you slow down Cam Thomas? 15 points, leads all scores, or do you force someone else to beat you? And I don't know how necessarily you do that, because you've got Jamari Sibley and KK Robinson, all class players across the country. How on earth do you do it?
This is a pick your poison offense. There's no good way of playing defense against guys this talented and this skilled at putting the ball in the hole. So, I mean, you got to just do your best. But, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to, is the ability to get stops, forcing one of these incredible offensive players to miss.
There's Cam as he's on the floor with KK Robinson, Darius Maddox, Emmanuel Okpomo, and Jamari Sibley. Step back, Isaacs won't take the 3. But Lohner in the corner misses. And the loose ball to KK Robinson.
You saw Lohner there, and then you saw Saunders. Wasatch started that possession trying to get Saunders open and loose on the baseline with some Reggie Miller type action, because they know he's a big part of their offense. And then you saw Lohner there. So those are the 2 guys that are going to have to bump up their production here in this second half for Wasatch to pull this out.
Okpomo with Lohner moving over on the help. That extends the Oak Hill lead to 5. Lohner running in on Okpomo. What's the call? That's a blocking foul. That goes against the big man for Oak Hill. It's his 2nd.
Lohner built like Rob Gronkowski, running down the seam there. But, you know, he has that ability to change direction. He's not just coming down there and barreling through. Yeah, he used the shoulder there a little bit, but he's also capable of changing directions, making a spin, and finishing soft off the board. So when he's coming like that, I'm not sure what you do.
It's been a quiet night for Lohner, but certainly an all-tournament selection when this is done. We've seen him in one game put up, 29 in a game? He can just do a little bit of everything. 14 a night ago. Hits the 2nd free throw, and the lead down to 3.
Colomario in to start this half. He started the game but picked up 2 quick fouls in the first half. So he's a very capable scorer here for Wasatch. So he's very rested, so we'll see how he does in this half.
Lohner lets him go by, and Maddox finishes.
2 possessions, 2 easy buckets for Oak Hill right at the rim, and you got to make them work. I mean, easier said than done with their jump shooting ability, but you'd love to see them shoot a jumper rather than get to the rack for an easy finish.
Lohner leans in on Okpomo, who partially gets the shot, and Cam Thomas comes away with it.
Okpomo just disruptive enough to force that miss.
Thomas A little off balance after making contact with Colomario, but still scores.
Off balance, off leg, runner. He has so many different shots that he can go to.
Lohner took a dribble to step back for the three. Doesn't end up taking it. Richie Saunders hesitates, misses the shot. Rebound to Oak Hill. Here's Robinson. Up ahead for Sibley. Timeout, Wasatch Academy. 48-39.
Yeah, disappointing start here for Wasatch to this second half, but Oak Hill playing the type of defense and offense that they love. You saw Cameron Thomas shooting that off-legged jumper, but that was the most difficult shot thus far this half. They've gotten to the rim on 3 or 4 occasions just early in this second half, and when you get easy opportunities and easy buckets, that's a bad sign for the other team because they were working. They shot a bunch of threes. You saw Saunders in there close, but Cam Thomas just held his ground and forced a tough finish, and we got to see more of that on the defensive end for Wasatch, not allowing those easy runs to the basket. So their defense is going to have to step it up for them to come back from this early 9-point deficit.
8-2 run to start the third quarter for Oak Hill as they'll wipe up a little bit of a mess in front of the Warriors bench. It's Maurice Magliolino, one of the athletic directors here at Iolani. They're getting the ball in and Mo's still on the court. So he's gonna finish up his work and we'll do the inbound all over again.
As quick as these guys are, they're so explosive. If they catch a wet spot, it could be bad injury. I mean, these are athletes out here, and we don't want to sacrifice that.
How does Wasatch respond off the 8-2 run? Isaacs off the dribble. Can't hit. He hit the floor hard. Lohner has the loose ball and launches for 3. Well short. A number of players hitting the deck. Opomo's got the rebound. Underhand to Sibley, extra pass, Maddox. Lead now 12, Saunders to answer. In and out. And Cam Thomas will push ahead. Steps back on Colomario. Almost went down. That would have left this place standing on its feet. Saunders will try again, and that one goes.
Wow, they really needed that one. Saunders in his sweet spot. Colomario did a really nice job. You don't notice things like that, but he set that little flare screen blind so Saunders could get that opportunity.
And we've got a foul going against Oak Hill. They'll actually check that double dribble called on Robinson. And that little hesitation before he burst again at the baseline.
What a turnaround. If Cam Thomas had knocked in that tough shot, then it would have been trouble.
Like Saunders, it drops. And the ball got free.
Wow, Saunders, what a tough finish. Hanging there with the contest, still able to get it up off the board left hand.
5-0 run to get back within 7.
Colomario. Yeah, early with the early fouls, picking up Cam Thomas. I mean, they know that Cam Thomas is their scorer, so they're adding a little bit of length to this defense here.
Inside Sibley. Tap back in. Sibley finishes his own miss. Isaacs racing ahead. Can't go around Opomo. And Isaacs hits the ground hard. Numbers ahead for Oak Hill. Just staying in bounds. Thomas. And one.
Wow. Cam Thomas, I wonder if he practices these things. I mean, it seems as though he's better when he takes contact. When he's off balance, he's just as accurate as when he's on balance.
His body seemed to be leaning to his left. Still had enough balance to bank that in. Traore is going to come into the game to give Isaacs a breather. And we know how good of a first half Fouche Traore had. So big lineup here with Mike Saunders running the point. And Thomas hits the free throw. Lead back to 12.
Coach David Evans trying different combinations, taking Isaacs out for the first time. So they have Traore along with Colomario in the game. And Colomario has that length. He has that ability to shoot it from long range. So a new dimension here for Wasatch.
Finally gets it to Saunders. Lohner inside Traore with 5. Doesn't drop that one down. Thomas high up for the rebound. Pull up for Maddox. Rebound Mike Saunders. Step back, around and out.
That's 2 in and out. Look like it's going down, swirled out for Wasatch.
Steve Smith isn't up off the bench often. He is right now, giving out the play design. Thomas loses off his foot momentarily, misses over Rickie Saunders. Oak Hill doesn't get the foul call. Colomario extra pass. Traore, the hesitation, and it doesn't go. They're going to call goaltending. Oak Hill wants a technical. I think the argument against that is he held the rim, safety reasons, with someone around him.
I think he was hoping just that it would go in, because if he let that go, the ball was going to go bouncing to the ceiling. So he hung on as long as he could, hoping for it to roll in before they called him for basket interference.
Tough break, that one not falling. Lead still 12 for Oak Hill.
Another one of those in and outs for Wasatch.
Tigers in a zone. 3 for Robinson. Lohner has the rebound. And that's where Lohner's been the most useful on the defensive glass. Tough take, Colomario, no. It'll stay with Wasatch Academy.
Not many easy opportunities for Wasatch. We talked about it in the last game. Long Island Lutheran just sitting back and forcing tough shots for Jefferson in our third place game. And similar here. Oak Hill stays in front, even on attacks to the basket. They shoot their hands straight up in the air. And
Lohner can't hit the 3. Mike Saunders has the rebound, kicks out to Rickie Saunders. That won't go. Cam Thomas hesitates, and the whistle.
Kind of throwing your hands up in the air if you're Rickie Saunders. He's seen so many shots go down in his career, and I'm sure it feels good coming off of his hand, and it's in and out. 2 rims, bouncing out, swirling around, bouncing out. Same with Caleb Lohner.
These two teams met back in April in one of the Nationals events.
Yeah, back in April 2019, they played in the Geico Nationals, where the Oak Hill Academy Warriors got the win over Wasatch, 79-72, led by then senior Cole Anthony, a name you are very familiar with if you've watched North Carolina basketball. If you've watched college basketball in general, he is the team for the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. He finished with a 30-point, 11-rebound performance, and he's carried that on to the next level.
Full timeout taken by Wasatch with 1:58 to go, third quarter. Biggest lead for Oak Hill now is 14, 58-44. It's almost bad luck in a sense, because you noted how many shots have gone in and out. The dunk that hung on the rim and went out. Rickie Saunders missing the 3. There's been opportunities to cut in that just have not went for the Tigers.
Yeah, tough going for the Tigers. And on the flip side, you know, on the other side, Oak Hill has just kept it simple. You know, as many highlights as they've had over the first 3 games of this tournament, this is not a game of flashy highlights. You're not going to see a lot of these things popping up on Instagram, on your feed, where it's a crazy dunk or something. I mean, that may come at some point in this game, but it's been about production. It's been about staying front defense, keeping your hands straight up on contests at the rim, and then being productive on offense. And that's not flashy, it's productive. So when you see these teams, I don't care how flashy they are when it comes to the early games, when we talk about turning it up, they turn up their efficiency. They turn up their production in terms of just keeping it simple, finding ways to the rim, finding the open man, getting stops. I mean, that's basketball. And that often gets lost with Oak Hill. They got the flashy shoes, and they've had the stars of the past, the Cole Anthonys, for example. But it's this type of basketball that gets wins, you know, gets the W.
Feels like a must-score possession right off the timeout. Rickie Saunders floats it up for Lohner, but it's knocked away. KK Robinson beating everybody down the pack, somehow scores.
Wow, the athleticism on both sides there. Saunders is no slouch of an athlete himself and went up to go get that. I'm not sure how KK Robinson snuck that one in.
Traore out for Colomario. Traore against Ezewiro. Almost out of the reach of Mike Saunders. Draws the help. Rickie Saunders has to track it down, 6 on the timer. Lohner's got a launch. Did he get it off? They say yes, shot misses. Barely got it off as the buzzer sounded. Thomas flashing left to the lane, finds himself open, scores right over Traore. 18-point lead, 42 ticks left in the third.
Cam Thomas there again. The recognition that Traore is a straight-up type of guy that he can go get the shot off.
Ezewiro whistled.
Without having to change what he's doing. Sometimes you throw your body in and just kind of throw up the shot, but he recognized great defense, saw that Traore wasn't going for the block, and realized that he could hang and still get it over him. Those are the nuances that lead to 30-plus point performances for Cam Thomas. He's a special type of scorer.
Steve Smith having a word with him right in front of his bench. His first free throw drops. Oak Hill wanted a lane violation, not called. Free throw good. 3-second difference between game and shot clock. Thomas, by the way, closing in on a 4th consecutive 30-point game. He's got 24.
Important stop here for Wasatch. Well, I mean, they're all important stops. They're going to have to string together buckets and stops, and maybe they can start with this here.
Robinson prodding. Fades over Saunders, no good. Lohner, 1 second, will they get it off? No, they throw it away. Over Colomario's head, can't do anything with .1. And that will be it. Oak Hill has opened up a 16-point lead. We'll head to the 4th quarter in a moment. It's the Classic Championship on BallerTV. Involved a lot of people being here. That's one of the best things about the Iolani Classic, the crowds, the mix of the Iolani students, students from other schools, parents, just those interested in basketball, making this venue one of the most fun for high school basketball across the nation. Of course, for this Iolani Classic, and a 16-point lead going into the 4th quarter, and Oak Hill trying to remain with control of this game. Cam Thomas, 24 points. Jamari Sibley, 12. KK Robinson's holding it with 10. Mike Saunders with 16 for Wasatch. Fus Traore's got 12. Didn't score in the second half. In fact, Wasatch scored just 9 points in the 3rd quarter. Off the mark. Rebound comes free to Evan Johnson. And Oak Hill now very interested in using clock. We're not used to watching this.
No, being really patient. They know they have the advantage here.
Sibley. Rebound Mike Saunders. While Oak Hill's going to take their time, Wasatch is going to run. Lohner. Bounce pass goes off the foot of Ezewiro. Or check that, I beg your pardon. That's off of Okpomo. Wasatch will inbound at the baseline.
Again, nothing easy for Wasatch. Oak Hill had the long 3 and the miss, but Wasatch, who likes to turn transition, got nothing. Oak Hill got back right in front, held their ground.
Lohner 3. He has been quiet. 7 for Lohner. And it's down to a 13-point lead for Oak Hill.
Absolutely needed that one. Need to get him on track. He's the versatile one. He's the tough guard.
That's the 7th 3 for Wasatch this evening. Tigers in a zone. Baseline Thomas. Tough 2. No good. Rebound Rickie Saunders. We haven't seen Isaacs in a while. And that's swatted away. Thomas 2-on-2. Right around Saunders and in.
Cam Thomas one-on-one in transition. He can do so many different things. That's nearly a bucket as soon as he recognized there was no help.
Lohner almost went away from that pass. Saunders. That 3 no good from Traore. That's where you almost feel like it's a little desperate when you've got Traore staying out there to launch.
Yeah, Wasatch really struggling to find good opportunities.
Johnson will fire for 3. Lohner has the rebound. Now they need points and they need them quick. Isaacs dribbled it off his leg, but it will go back to Wasatch as it went off of Robinson.
Wasatch in the half court is doing a nice job. I mean, really the only points have been on runouts, and they've done a good job of getting stops, forcing misses, but they have not been able to do it on the other end of the court because Oak Hill, even if they're missing, they're getting back, not giving up anything easy. And yesterday we saw Oak Hill give Jefferson fits, and we thought maybe it was Jefferson lack of production, but it's clearly Oak Hill's defense.
Saunders couldn't get that one, and here comes a 2-on-0 run out. The rise of Jamari Sibley. You can hear Steve Smith yelling out, "We need to stop right here." Lohner almost went somewhere without the ball. Mike Saunders, and 1.
Mike Saunders willing his way to the basket, willing that basket into the rim. But look at that. I mean, look how hard that was. Yeah, that's 2 points. It's a and 1 opportunity, and you hope that they can string this together. But over the course of a game or for the rest of this fourth quarter, if he has to continue to do that, I'm not sure that those types of shots can keep falling, and that's what Oak Hill's hope is.
May have gotten away with the extension of the arm to create space. Either way, they needed those points. Ball high up in the air, won by Robinson. Thomas thought about the 3, hesitates, and will go to the line. Just creating the contact. It's the 3rd on Saunders, Rickie Saunders.
I absolutely swear there were 3 guys on him on that, and he didn't think 1 second about passing it, and he got off a clean shot and drew the foul. I mean, very Kobe-like, you know, with that understanding of where guys are and how to draw fouls, how to lean just the right way that you get the right call. I mean, that's what scorers do. That's what they're capable of. They see those small things that no one else sees and are able to get buckets where no one else is.
27 for Cam Thomas. Make it 28. And a timeout taken by Oak Hill. 16-point lead, 4:36 to play. We got a moment here, Iolani Classic. We talked about how students and fans and community members alike pack this place year after year after year, especially for this finale. But a lot of people don't realize a lot that goes into making this happen. I know you wanted to mention some of those people as much as you possibly can that have had a hand in making this classic another successful one.
There are so many people that make this tournament what it is, and I believe it's one of the top tournaments in the country, not just in Hawaii, one of the best tournaments in the country, and I think a lot of the coaches will attest to that, and it's because of all these people. We have training room staff there. We have equipment room people that are washing jerseys, and washing the towels, and they're doing that daily. They're staying here from morning until night to take care of these teams, keeping them healthy. And then you have floor wipers. You have people that are managing the teams to get in and out of the locker room. The Chucky Nakoas, who've done this for many years. Neil Tamabayashi done it for many years. And people working the door, people working concession. And, you know, these unsung heroes, the D. Aritas of the world that, you know, get no recognition whatsoever. They're not these basketball people, but they're here to make this a great tournament and make something special and carry on this legacy of Glenn Young. You saw their family there just a second ago. And what's crazy, and I got to mention one more thing, what's crazy is Glenn Young used to do this by himself.
Wow.
A few years ago when he passed, this has gotten, it was nearly a 30-person committee that is doing the work that he did.
No whistle. And the dunk for Thomas. But finish that point while we have a chance.
No, Glenn Young, yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. I don't know how he used to do it. He used to manage that. I mean, let me not forget about the guys that are managing the buses. We're getting these guys, Mel. You know, I only know him by Mel, but I mean, everyone knows him by Mel. Anyone that's come to the Classic in the past, and if there's any teams listening from these long-time Classic returning teams, they know Mel. There's no mistaking Mel, and he works hard, man. And, you know, last one before we go, the referees.
Yep.
The referee has been special this year. Francis IU has done a tireless job of trying to manage these guys. Lots of games, 32 games, which means, what's that, 96 referees that he has to book. And Alton Mamiya from the OIA, so incredible of a job to put something like this together, to have these types of games and to have this type of successful tournament.
70-54 with 3:31 remaining. Timer down to 9. Robinson keeping it. Sibley with 2. Over Lohner. Got it.
Wow,
Not
perfect.
easy.
Yeah, perfect possession for Oak Hill. They ran clock, still got off a fairly clean shot and knock it down after running the full 30 seconds off the clock.
Isaacs knocks down to 3. Gets it down to 15. And Oak Hill pushing ahead. Steve Smith does not want them shooting right now.
You could hear on that defensive possession for Oak Hill, you could hear a no coming off of the Oak Hill bench, leaving Richard Isaacs wide open.
Around for Okpomo. Help drawn. Okpomo left open.
Okpomo has had a nice game. Not flashy, not points-wise, but he's anchored it in there.
Isaacs hits another one. And Wasatch uses its second to last timeout. It's at 14. Not impossible with 2:20 remaining.
Yeah, I spoke about it earlier. That no came from the bench because you don't want to give guys the opportunity to get in a rhythm, to get on track. So Richard Isaacs gets that one game shot wide open, finds the distance, finds the stroke, and then you see him get on track again there. A little tougher shot, but he felt it earlier from the earlier shot, and now he knocks that down. Coaches know how momentum works, and you always want it on your side. You want to keep the other team without momentum, out of rhythm, out of that nice flow to get those types of shots, because that's the only way really that Wasatch is going to be able to come back, is if they knock down consecutive three-pointers.
14 for Isaacs. He's hit 4 threes. 9 for the team for the game, as you see the trophies being ready. Tournament team, you see the shirts. We're 2:20 away from handing all that out.
Yeah, it never ends. It's tireless. I mean, the athletic directors you saw, they're in charge of getting these people in this crowded gym, but you saw Maurice Maggiolino wiping the floor. You'll see Eddie Maruyama running around like crazy, trying to take care of these guys best they can, putting together the all-tournament team, finding the coaches, trying to make sure they're still going to be here when this is all said and done and they present all the awards.
Wasatch needs a defensive stand and then quick points. Good help defense. And we'll get under 2 minutes here. Open three for Johnson. Put back though by Sibley.
Sibley cleaning up the mess.
Saunders is blocked. Throws it back out for Mike Saunders. Rebound Isaacs. And he'll head to the line. Stops the clock with 1:42 remaining. Okpomo called for foul number 3.
Okpomo got the foul there, but that's what he's been doing this whole game. He's extended those long arms. I swear he's scratching his knee with his hands without even bending over. I mean, that guy, he might be able to tie his shoes. But he just extends his arms, make the finishes tough. Just make them harder. I mean, if those guys make it, which we've seen happen, but they've really worked for him, if they continue to do that over and over, then you tip your cap. But he's made this other team, made this Wasatch team work for everything.
14-point lead, ball loose. And it's going to be Wasatch ball. Cam Thomas called for the foul. They needed that.
First time you've seen Wasatch extend this press. You know, with the shot clock, they could afford to play that zone for a little longer, but now they're going to have to come out and pressure to close this lead with 1:38.
Isaacs doesn't hit the corner three. Okpomo has the rebound. We'll need to force more turnovers. They want to have a chance. Oak can take this down to about 1:02. Sibley with 7, moves it to KK Robinson. And out of bounds, shot clock is at 1. Regardless of whether they get points or not, they did exactly what they needed to do. Sibley doesn't hit the rim. So a minute to play, 14-point deficit, and Wasatch gonna have to hurry up the floor.
They're going to need a lot of things right. A lot of fortunate things happen to close this gap with under a minute remaining in this fourth quarter.
Isaacs will go to the rim and 1.
Yeah, you saw Isaacs tilt his head back there on that last one, just like, ah, finally.
Okpomo called for his 4th foul. One thing you can't say, Isaacs' relentless aggression has really served him well tonight. He's also hit 4 threes. That drops. It's a 12-point game. Let's see if they foul. Not there, not there, and not there. It comes out to Robinson. And there's the foul by Rickie Saunders with 36 seconds left, and some of the fans starting to head for the exits, seeing that this one is no longer in doubt. Maybe there's one more highlight play in here somewhere. That's not free. Cam Thomas tracks it down. Thomas misses that. He does have 30 though. All 4 games of this classic, he has hit 30 at least. Isaacs misses. And we'll have a held ball between Rickie Saunders and KK Robinson. It'll be Wasatch ball. I've got to imagine most valuable, most outstanding. Combination of the two. Thomas, I've got to put in Curbelo from Long Island Lutheran.
For sure, Curbelo, one of the top players in this tournament, incredibly valuable to his team, and they just didn't make it to the finals. That's just the way it shakes out sometimes.
Isaacs is blocked out of bounds with 12.9 remaining. So for Oak Hill, 11th appearance, will be its 8th championship here in the Iolani Classic. 3 good for Mike Saunders, and one more timeout taken by Wasatch, its last. Actually, no, they're not going to use the timeout. They just have to fix the net. It almost benefits them to a degree as a timeout because it does stop the clock. Quietly, it's become an 8-point game, and a foul going to go on Oak Hill.
just an 8-point game. Wasatch made a nice run here, but 9.1 seconds. Still Wasatch ball. They may be able to cut this a little bit.
The referees were getting together. Robinson kind of pushed off. Mike Saunders wanted a clean look. Not there. They'll get it out here. One more chance. Isaacs, it's no good. And for the 8th time in Classic history, Oak Hill continues its dominance here in Honolulu. The Warriors are the 2019 Iolani Classic champions with an 8-point win over Wasatch Academy.